Get you set up here, Zach. Cool. Good, sir.
Good. All right. Zach Roberts with VR Creations, and today I'm talking about AI without the hype. So when I was first asked to talk today, I was asked specifically to talk about AI, and I was a little hesitant because sometimes I can be a little skeptical about AI. So I was like, okay, but the more I thought about it, I thought, like, I use AI almost every day. So what I wanted to make my presentation about is really to show you guys how I use it and how you can use it and incorporate it slowly into your business too. And so that's where we're going to go. So I'm excited to share that with you. Excellent. Next slide. See if this thing will have a little video for you. Go ahead. So here's something fun. I actually used AI to help me write this video. Not because AI knows my business better than I do. I used it the same way I use AI with my clients, as a thinking. Oops, sorry. Harder. Not a replacement. I still had to give it context. I still had to decide what mattered. And I still had to make it sound like me. That's how AI works best in our marketing, though, when it supports clarity instead of replacing it. I'm Zach Roberts with ZR Creations, and I help businesses bring clarity to their marketing so that what they use, including AI, actually work for them. Just thought it'd be kind of fun. I had ChatGPT help me actually write the script. All I did was read it, but it was just kind of fun to see how it could put together something like that and help you in how you present something that you're trying to present about your business. Okay, next slide. So before I get started too far, I wanted to also differentiate what does AI mean? So I hear AI used a lot to talk about different tools. So maybe ChatGPT or Gemini, which use AI. Maybe I've heard it used to talk about software that people use to make decisions and to make decisions faster. I've heard it used to describe maybe like this magical concept of there's hacks and shortcuts out there because AI can do things for you. And I've heard it used a lot as automation. And specifically with automation, I wanted to kind of differentiate that when we automate something that's different, automation's been around for decades. And all that means is a computer or a system can wait for one thing to happen. And when the one thing happens, it can trigger the next thing to happen. But that's different than AI because AI can think and apply logic and reasoning to something and then determine the next step more dynamically. It's not just when this happens, do this, but it can respond however it determines is the right response for that scenario. So it's a little different. So how do I use AI? I use AI for a couple of different reasons in a couple of different ways. It helps speed me up a lot. Sometimes I'll get stuck on something and I need help getting unstuck. And when you're just trying to figure out where to go with something, AI can be really, really helpful for that. The other thing is it helps me move faster, kind of for that same reason. Sometimes it's getting going so you can move quicker versus figuring it out at your own pace. Sometimes it's AI can process so much more information way faster than a human can. So it helps move quicker. Clarity is the second way. What I mean by that is organizing thoughts around things. There's times where, like, putting together this presentation, there's going to be a theme here, guys. I used AI a lot in this presentation behind the scenes. So organizing thoughts even. I was able to get in ChatGPT. That's the AI I use most in this sense, and I used it to kind of brainstorm ideas, figure out where I could go with AI and what my thoughts were. I kind of brain dumped everything into it, and it helped give me some thoughts around it. So also weighing options. So I use it a lot when I'm trying to make decisions, especially like if I'm considering different. So one example that pops in my head is like when I was considering different softwares I might want to use. That's something really good at AI. The AI is really good at because it can go out and scan the internet way faster than me and then come back. So if I say, hey, I'm thinking about these couple of tools, but what other tools are out there that do this thing? Or here are the 3 I found. What are the pros and cons of each one? It can come back and give me so much more information faster than I could have gone and learned about each one of those products. And it's more clear. Language, by that I mean like it can help write things. It can help organize thoughts into
written language very easily. We're going to talk more about all of this in the next couple slides. I don't want to go too deep. Coverage, it helps me be more present in more places and to be more consistent across those spaces for all of these same reasons, kind of. So, all right. So AI, though, throughout all of these, you're going to see there's a trend that AI is feeding me information, but I'm remaining a decision maker and having to determine how to use it. So, okay, next slide. The first specific way I wanted to kind of go through is brainstorming and ideas. Again, there's lots of times that I feel like I'm staring at a blank screen, or I'm looking at an email and trying to figure out where to go with it, or different places where I'm trying to organize something and I'm just not sure where I want to go. I use AI a lot to brainstorm and to kind of just brain dump all of the thoughts and background and everything into it and help kind of figure out where I want to go. Or I've used it to brainstorm ideas for like some of the items that are up here, blog post topics or social media post content. I've used it to name things, and by naming things, I mean like here's that baby. It came up with the name AI without the hype. That was a ChatGPT suggestion. It gave me a whole bunch of them, and I said, I like that one. And we kind of talked, I was able to talk it out and kind of figure out where to go with it. So I use it to name things like this. I've used it to name events. I've used it to find people's website names when I'm trying to come up with a domain name that's available for somebody's website. And I'm trying to, again, just come up with ideas. It can come up with so many ideas faster than I can. And then, of course, I have to go and find out what is workable. What can we actually work with? How does this fit into the brand we're trying to build? How does this fit into the event we're trying to plan for, or anything like that? But it's very, very helpful at coming up with ideas. Okay, next slide. I've used it a lot for writing and for content. So a few years ago, when I build websites, I did not offer copywriting or writing the copy for people's website. And I was really clear that I didn't do that. But most of the time, we would get the pages built and I'd still be waiting on copy. And I'd be waiting and waiting and couldn't seem to finish projects because I was waiting on the client to give me the copy for the website so we could wrap it up and move on. And people started telling me a few years ago, like, use AI, let AI write the copy. And I tried that. I really did not like the copy that I was writing because I knew too much about why the copy was important and how it should be worded, but I just didn't enjoy doing it. So I would get the copy out of AI and I'd be like, this is horrible, I'm not using this. And I kind of was back at square one. Then I tried hiring a copywriter. That was expensive though, and it wasn't really a good solution. So then I ended up going back to AI. But what I learned after a while was it was in how I asked it to give me the copy. So it was in the prompting and how I had to learn that I had to tell it kind of my principles on messaging and what's important to me and how I want the copy to be written. And when I give it those parameters and I tell it more background about the business and that kind of thing, the copy I started getting was so much better. It wasn't perfect, but I could then use that and work off of it. And again, I wasn't looking at a blank screen anymore. I had something that was close. So actually, all three of these websites I built, and all three of these, AI helped me write the copy and get me going. And then I was able to share it with the client and get feedback, and we were able to kind of work off of it. So the same is true. You can use it to write for emails, for your social media captions, and many other things. But again, you have to kind of work with it to make it into what you're wanting it to be. Next is ads and optimization. So today, you're seeing AI more and more in different places. And that includes Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, and you see it in Google Ads. Those are three places that I use it a lot in this space. So when I run ads for my clients, we will talk about, again, my goals for the campaign. What are they trying to get out of it? I have to take all this information, but AI will actually help me to make sure they're getting the most out of it. So through Meta and through Google, they have AI built in. You can choose to let it have influence over the campaign, or you can choose to configure yourself more restrictively. But I've experimented a lot with letting it influence the campaign, because what it can do is, like, recently, these are two campaigns that this is one campaign that I ran recently. It's two different ads. There were several ads. What we were able to do is basically set up 5 different types of ads within that campaign, which was basically this person was running an auction for different land and property. I think I'm waving at the camera. And so, but he had 5 different types of properties, and those different properties had different audiences. So we actually set it up as one campaign, but 5 different ads. And then we let AI say that within each one of those ads, it can make changes. It could make recommendations and influence how it got displayed, where it got displayed. It could change some of the copy if it thought it knew something that might perform better or get more clicks. And the really cool thing that it could also do is reallocate budget. So we set the budget on the top level. It turned out that 2 of those 5 that we set up got over half the budget, because AI Meta knew better than I knew what people were clicking on. It can measure constantly. It can track the clicks, and it can track and reallocate. Okay, let's put more money and display this ad more because it's going to get more clicks. And they were all 5 going to the same page on the website. So it didn't matter which one they clicked. We just wanted to get them to the website to read more about the auction. And Google works very, very similarly. So when we talk about budget optimization, that's what I'm talking about. We want to make sure that we get the most out of the budget that we were already set. And the same was true with the audience expansion, right? We were getting in front of more people because we were getting the clicks at the cheapest price. And the creative variations, it displayed it in so many different ways. Like, this was the same ad, but it changed out. We had uploaded several pictures. It changed the picture, and it changed where it was presented. So instead of being like a post in your feed, it displayed it as a reel. But I only set it up one time. AI decided where to place it. And so again, AI can really help to optimize the performance of your ads, but it couldn't have told it who to reach for each type of ad. It couldn't have told it how much money to spend. And then there's a lot of other decisions we could have gone back to kind of optimize it further manually. So there's a lot to it from a manual perspective as well. Okay. So another place that I've been using AI a lot is on people's websites. So not to the website itself, but as a lead capture tool. So when you go to a website, some people, I would always tell you to have your phone number, have your email address, have the contact page, right? People want to reach out in those ways, but some people won't pick up the phone and call. They just won't. And some people will go to the contact page and submit a question and wait for an email, but some people don't want to wait for the email back either. So I've been working with my clients to implement this chatbot and voice receptionist feature, which is really cool because it's completely driven by AI. The chatbot goes in the bottom corner of the screen. It can be there 24/7, and people, again, that don't want to call or email might just interact with the chatbot. They think they will get instant response right then and there, and they don't feel nervous maybe to call and talk to a real person if they haven't fully thought out or prepared for that. They can just ask a question. The chatbot can answer that question. And meanwhile, the chatbot is driving them to provide their name or their phone number or their email so that you can follow up with them and build that personal connection based on that. But that way you capture the lead. So especially if that's like after hours, you don't have to be there to answer the phone. Your website can be capturing that information and you can follow up the next day. The same is true with there's a voice receptionist option, which is it's an automated phone call. We all have used those. Sometimes they're kind of annoying, but they work. So you can have these phone numbers that when your website visitors or whoever calls, you can actually have AI answer. And just like the chatbot, it can interact and answer questions, and it can collect their information and let them know that you'll follow up. And in both of those, we're able to train it to know more or less about your business. So I'm working with a psychologist that does ADHD evaluations. he's working to get this on his website right now, where we're training the AI to know more about the insurance that he accepts. We're training it to know a little bit more about the appointments and what the process looks like. So we're trying to anticipate what are the questions that we think people visiting his website will have, and how do we tell the AI how to answer those questions so that it can actually add value quickly and kind of build trust with them, and then collect more information so we can follow up. Okay, go to the next page. But AI magnifies what's already there, right? So if you consider the unexpected, meaning like if your website's unclear, it doesn't matter if we add things like the chatbot. It may not matter, right? Like if somebody lands on your website and it's not engaging or relevant or interesting to them, it doesn't matter if you have the chatbot, because it's not going to help. If the person comes and it doesn't resonate, they're going to click back before they ever engage. So we still have to make sure that your foundation is strong. Same with your ads. If your ads aren't going to resonate, it doesn't matter that we're optimizing the budget or that we're getting in front of more people, because the ad itself still has to be relevant and engaging to the person that runs across it. And the same with your content. The content has to be relevant, has to be interesting to them and applicable. Otherwise, you're just creating more noise quicker. And so AI doesn't fix a weak foundation, it just amplifies what you've already got. So it's important to kind of start with what you have now before you build onto it. Okay, 5 things to remember about AI. So I was trying to kind of come up with like takeaways. Where does this all go? So AI is a great helper for content creation. So you can use AI to get unstuck. I talked about that. It can help you be more responsive and available to your customers quicker. You should remember that humans still own the strategy and the voice. AI is just a tool to help you do what you do. Don't get distracted by shiny objects. So stick to your core marketing principles. This one resonates with me a lot because I hear so many people ask me about like, how do I adjust what we're doing to appeal more to AI? And the answer is you shouldn't. Marketing hasn't changed significantly enough, quickly enough that you should get up and change your whole strategy. Focus on what you're doing and how you can use AI to do it more effectively, but don't change your strategy. Google and your website and your Google presence are still the most important thing you have. And then again, AI magnifies what's already there. So focus on building a strong foundation. So I'll leave you with the question, is your marketing ready for AI? And that's what I've got, but I want to answer some questions that you may have.
I got a question. So how long do you think we'll be able to trust AI? If we ask, like, who makes the best pair of shoes or the best refrigerator or something like that, and you get information back, how long is that going to be good information that we believe, or is there going to be outside influencers pushing their products, stuff, things like that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's hard to really know the right answer to it. People are definitely trying to, like I said, I'm hearing a lot of people saying, how do I change the marketing strategy? They want to be, when you go to AI and you ask, give me the best place to buy my ink and toner for my business, they want it to say cartridge world, right? Like, so I think the fact that people are thinking about that, they're trying to make that, I think that at some point, we probably will see a shift like we have seen where you can be paid to be at the top of Google or things like that. We're going to see some shifts probably in it, but I don't know what that will look like and when. Yes.
How difficult is it to integrate and how expensive? Not specific dollars, but is this a major deal to integrate AI into your website?
Like the website chat. It's not a very big deal to at least get started. So it's actually super easy to connect it, put the chatbot on there. What it'll do out of the box is it'll scan your website and it'll find all the information that's already there and it'll use that. But like I said, like with the ADHD example, we wanted it to know a little bit more. We wanted it to know more details. And that's really as simple as documenting it and providing that document to the AI so that it can scan that and have that information. But that obviously, like most of my clients don't have that documentation ready. So it's a process to put that in place, but it's easy to at least get it going. It'll scan the website, it'll know what's there, and start using that to answer questions, because people don't read everything. Yes.
I met a young marketing director yesterday for a chain of dental offices. And he was all about ChatGPT and just all excited about it because it did a lot of writing for him. I don't think he realized what you highlighted in your position when you weren't initially writing content for web pages, that your first round wasn't very satisfying to you. But your second round, when you learned to educate it and feed it information so that it could better process, that it's a completely different world. I don't think he understood that step one to step two. He hadn't gotten there yet. Yeah, so I think it's key, because I'm with you. I'm still learning and I'm trying to make this productive. But I think that understanding you have to teach it and give it appropriate information before you expect it to perform well for us.
Yes, it only knows what we tell it.
Based on what Tom was saying, I was wondering, Andy, with your psychologist, can it speak in the voice, your voice? How do you train that?
So that's interesting. So yes, over time, the first thought I'm having is I've been having it help me with my social media content. And it's funny because it says things to me that, again, I'm a big ChatGPT person. So I'm using ChatGPT most of the time. And it knows my voice, and it'll tell me when things are not my voice. And it's funny because like it's said a few things that are kind of creepy and kind of funny at the same time. But like it's gotten to know me pretty well. And sometimes I've actually so I use one AI that helps me write the content, and then I end up putting it in ChatGPT, telling it to help me make it more of my voice. And it's funny because ChatGPT I've been working with longer, it knows my voice better. The other one is just better at the social media content piece. And being able to kind of like, I don't want to say automate because it's not, but being able to kind of automate that creation process, but then taking it and refining it. But we actually built, me and ChatGPT, I said, I finally asked it, can you give me a document of how you would define my voice? And I had it write it out for me and define it. I was able to then give feedback or tweak it and tell it, I don't want that to be my voice, or, oh, that's really great, keep writing like that. So it's kind of interesting to like play with it. But again, it goes into realizing I had to tell it that, just like I would tell a real person.
Interesting. I went to brag on your commercial buildings. They sold them yesterday.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that.
What app do you use, or do you try to go across different ones, or how do you have?
Yeah, again, I use ChatGPT for a lot of things, even like outside of work stuff. It's funny because like, and again, the more I use it, the more it knows me about different things, which is again, it's kind of, in a way, I don't like that. It's kind of scary, but in the other hand, like it's really more and more helpful the more it learns about me. But it's silly stuff. Like I was trying to figure out what kind of grass I have. The grass wasn't growing, and I was trying to figure it out. And I spent probably a couple of weeks like trying to like pull blades of grass, take them inside, put them at my computer and Google what types of grass grow in Memphis. I'm looking at these pictures and overthinking it and couldn't decide. One day I was like, what am I doing? I went out there, I took my phone, I took pictures. I put it in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT told me exactly what kind of grass I have and how to treat the problems I was trying to solve. And so I use ChatGPT for most things. Obviously, there's a few other tools that I do use for the social media pieces. And then I use Meta and Google a lot.
Have you also tried Grok or some of the other platforms?
I've not tried.
I've used both.
Yeah, rocks. Yes.
I've used Grok, all repair, diagnosing the problem.
Okay.
I've also used it for construction. When I go in and write a contract and tell them I've got an 1,800 square foot house with a 612 pitch with how many valleys, and it tells me how many shingles I need. But I would have gone into it with biblical studies, and I want the directives toward true doctrine from the scripture, not theology from it. And boy, and the more parameters you can give it, the more precise you get.
How many people in here, Betty, have named their AI?
Wow, you can name it.
I'm
Yeah.
I
happy.
see a few hands, yeah, so,
The agents that you're talking about, when you get agents, you create agents, inside ChatGPT, for instance.
yeah. So like interacting with ChatGPT one day, I was just being silly. I asked it, what can I call you? And it said, well, my name is ChatGPT, but you can call me, and it gave me a bunch of names. So I call it Pixel now.
You call it what?
I call ChatGPT Pixel.
Pixel.
And it's funny, I'll start everything with, hi Pixel, I'm working on.
I don't know if you covered this or not, but Zach gave me this idea last year. He said, if you buy, if you pay like $20 a month for ChatGPT, it will learn all about your company, it'll go out and find stuff that you didn't even know it knew, you forgot about it. And it incorporates stuff when you're trying to research, like when I did my presentation last week and things like that. I don't use ChatGPT totally, but like he said, I use it to give me some ideas to put in the hopper, and then I make my own. But it's amazing what it will remember about your business. And even to the point where if I ask for a quote or something funny, it always gives me a positive one. It knows I don't like negativity. It says, no, you don't like negativity, so here's a positive, whatever. I'm like, whoa, that's scary.
The key is to be logged in. If you want it to remember and learn about you, is be logged in so it can like remember that it's you from time to time, even if it's the free account. It is very reaffirming. So most of the time it reaffirms whatever I've said. And sometimes I try to tell, like, you don't have to agree with me. I want unbiased feedback. I don't know if that works, but I tell it that a lot.
Yeah. It's serious. Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, yeah.
Yes, sure.
I do a market update to all my sellers every 7 to 10 days, and I do all the research. I put it in there, but I put it in ChatGPT when I finish because I'm doing it in between phone calls, and I make sure I explain. And then last week I did one, and it asked me, "Do you want me to also modify this to go into your week or your monthly newsletter?" I'm like, "God knows me too." Like,
Scary.
So is Pixel your new best friend? I mean, I'm visioning kids and imaginary friends going in weird places. Like,
Oh, I don't want to say that, but but I've gone through phases, especially like there's been certain projects, like when I was trying to get the grass, I was trying to get the weeds to stop growing through the grass, and I was trying to figure out how to treat it. And I was talking to it a whole lot, and then I was quoting, well, I talked to Pixel, and Pixel says.
One more thing. When you're doing research, when you're going to do a presentation or to a customer or to a group, when I go into ChatGPT, I go there, also go to Google, Gemini, I go to a number of different places, but I tell them, these computers, when you give me information, I want references to each thing you give. And so if you do that, and it'll tell you where it got it, then you can go to that link and read it and decide for yourself whether this is real, if it's true or not.
This is really important.
And I'm telling you, you cannot just take ChatGPT at face value, because a lot of the stuff is not even right. Some of that stuff is not even correct.
Right.
It's really important to do that.
that's
Yeah.
But that is really true, because it'll say things sometimes that I've just known. I'm like, that's not really right. Or I've heard stories. I heard a story about a lawyer that used ChatGPT to write. I don't know if this is true, but I heard this story that it resonates with this exact sentiment. He used he used AI to write a brief that he submitted to the court. It made up the precedent case that it referenced. And the judge ultimately condemned him to resubmit the brief, but he held him responsible. He said it was your job to check what you turned into me before you turned it in.
Absolutely. I have a friend that's a teacher in Carterville at a like a really small private school, and she said that she teaches high school and the kids are turning papers in, and she said some of them will even say at the bottom, and they don't read it. So they don't see, and it'll say done by ChatGPT or whatever it'll say. And she just hands it back to him, and she says, I'm not taking this. And I know this isn't your writing. Yeah. So yeah. But
And you can tell
Yeah,
can
school
tell
for
'cause
gifted
there's
kids that are extremely
styling.
smart. Yeah.
I'm real big too. I'm like, there's styling. I can tell when
Yeah.
things are written by AI a lot of the time, which is why like it's good to get the first draft. You have to really go back there and refine. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.